Hi, this is Jim Kerr, and you're listening to Backbeat.
All music is the same. It's just a new set of lyrics and a new backbeat.
This is your first tour in 7 years. Do you prefer the intimacy of a small venue or the vastness of a stadium show?
I like them all. They're all a challenge. They're all a different challenge, obviously. A big show is probably more about production, whereas a smaller show, there's no getting away from the music and the centre point. But ever since being kids, going to watch live bands and in our opinion, watching some great live bands, we wanted to be not only in a band, but we wanted to be in a band that could cut the mustard live. And I think if that's the case, you have to be able to do everything from office Christmas parties to pubs to theatres to and we have and we do and so I've enjoyed them all. We've had some great nights in them all. We've had some terrible nights in them all. But I guess basically we just enjoy playing.
Regarding the internet, now you have a great website. I checked it out. The only thing is it's a little slow.
Not now. It's changed this week.
It is?
Yeah.
Oh, great. Okay. It's well thought out.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that the closeness to your fans, your community, as it says on the website, seems very important to you. What does the internet mean to you?
Well, what does the internet mean to me in general? It's become a real integral part of not only me as an individual, but to our band as well, obviously with the site. I mean, it's been, I was never really that into television, to be honest. Once we started getting into music, I was sort of never really hanging around, but even less now. And so, particularly when you're on the move like us, the internet is all manner of things, from business-wise to keeping sort of the relationships going, to finding out how the local football team's doing, and so it's all of these things. It's access to whatever information. Even during the album, we used the net in terms of sending. We had 2 or 3 little studios going at the same time, and we were sending, on different days using the MP3 files and so on. So it's definitely integrated into what we do and who we are. And of course, it's nice that you mentioned the band site. We think it's a great site, and all credit really to the people that run it and design it. But I suppose a band like us is perfect for a so-called community, because not only has the band had almost a 25-year existence, but in that existence we've had a 1 or 2 generation of fans worldwide, and when they can't get news of what's going on, or when there's nothing going on, they kind of make things happen between themselves via the net and so on and so forth. But obviously when you go on tour, you see the net really becomes a huge part. It's a sort of daily dialogue between people that have been to shows, people that are coming to shows, and people that can come. So it's been great to see it really blossom over the last few months.
Now, of course, looking back on a career of 25 years in the music business, about your set list, it's always a deliberation, which song you bring in, which one you leave out. What about letting the fans vote online to decide what you're going to play at that venue?
It may be a nice take, but why not let them write the songs then? Then you've got total chaos. I mean, that's why they're the fans and we're with the band, because it's not room service. But it could be nice. You're right. It could be nice, but I think you got to draw the line somewhere.
Okay, I just mentioned because I know the Stones tried it out.
Yeah, as I say, it's a nice thing. I think what's better to do is to surprise the fans. we all like to be surprised. I mean, the one downer of the net I would say is that, for instance, the day the album came out, it just wasn't the event, because people, you know, had heard bits and pieces for months, you know, months in advance. And when the album came out, just about everyone had downloaded things from radio and stuff, and there definitely was a sense of, hey, you know, Christmas came at Halloween. And I think playing live is you surely got to keep an element of surprise.
So you wrote the album Cry in Italy, from what I read.
A lot of it, yeah.
And you also have a residence there.
Yeah.
What's your favorite Italian food?
He chokes on something there just at the mention of it. I suppose in Sicily, where I am, it's a great place for the very freshest of seafood. So, yeah, something along those lines.
The record Neon Lights, the album, was that made out of contractual obligation, or was it a means of getting your feet musically wet again?
Yes, it was the latter. It was a little indulgent, but if I have one regret about that album, I think it's something we should have done years previous. You know, we've always enjoyed playing cover songs. We've always enjoyed wearing our influences on our sleeve, but it didn't happen in the past. But certainly coming back and getting to work again and working with a new technology, what better way to get the ball rolling than go and have a blast? And we did that with a few covers, and we thought, well, maybe there will be bonus tracks for, you know, the singles. And then once we got up and running, we thought, this is not a bad little collection on its own, and we kind of used it as a little foretaste that the band was, you know, coming again.
So in that respect, musically, do you feel the urge to continually try something new, or maintain the melodic or rhythmic success of the past?
Well, there definitely seems to be a cyclical thing going on, which often, you know, surprises me. Never in my wildest imagination could have thought that not only we would be constantly messing around with sounds that we messed around with decades ago, but also playing songs that we haven't played for 20 years or so. There seems to be it's not a willfulness to go back to the past, because I don't think we couldn't do it, but sometimes it's been good working with people that maybe had a feel for some of the things we did in the past, and they bring it to us with a new slant or something, and you think, oh, this is cool again, or whatever. But no, when you write music, you hopefully, well, first of all, you're trying to entertain yourself, and you're trying you're messing around with ideas that you think are of merit, and you hope, first of all, that people get the chance to hear them, and secondly, feel the same way.
Do you find videos a necessary evil? I'm from the old school. When I listen to a song, I get the imagery in my mind. How do you feel about videos?
Yeah, they've never quite really. I would have to be lying if I said we're in the studio we go, wow, this would be great with the video. It just doesn't happen, you know. It's kind of like, it's part of the marketing thing.
Very often, it really has nothing to do with the song.
Well, yeah. Although having said that, the one we've put out currently, I think, is the best. Could be the fact that we're not in it, or it's just. I guess what is this potluck? You know what I mean? When you play live, you're in control. When you're in the studio, you know what things is. We're not filmmakers, so you know you can sit around and have meetings about this and about that, but it's potluck really as to whether the director really captured it. And I would say for us, it's definitely been a bit 50-50. Sometimes not. Other times it was like, wow, that's good. But yeah, as you say, I don't know if they're necessary evils, but they're certainly part of the marketing.
So you've given birth to the new album, Cry. and now that your baby is now released to the big bad world, do you feel it to be a successful child?
It's very early days. I mean, your Simple Minds, as you said at the start, we haven't done anything for about 7 years. I haven't done that much. And when people say, well, how do you think things are going, or how do you think the results are? I say, well, ask me in a couple of years. Not because I will obviously know the answer then, but we've got a lot of work to do over the next 2 years. And I don't. If things are going to happen, the results will be through getting momentum, rather than like wow, some rocket. But it's been a success in as much that, again, talking about the fans and the website, the irony is the fans are the biggest critics. They because they're so into the band that in a sense they make it clear when they're disappointed and so on, or they're partisan either way, I guess is what I'm trying to say. And the general thing, both with the album and being on stage again, the general thing seems to be that the band has a return to a kind of energy that it hasn't had for a long time.
You wrote that if Simple Minds had not existed on the website, you would have gone into political journalism with the notoriety that Simple Minds has achieved. And do you have, or have you ever the urge to use it as a channel for a cause?
In the past, I mean, in the 80s, certainly Simple Minds merged the idealism, I think, that we had in the music with the big sort of social themes at that time. I mean, they're still the same themes, really. Maybe the geography changes, but whether it was, racism or rather anti-racism, all of those things that popped up in the 80s, whether it was Amnesty International or, of course, Greenpeace, the Mandela concerts, Live Aid, and some not so sort of celebrated, but maybe more local, but were important to us. So, we've at different times had some parallel thing going on.
Okay, getting back to the tracks on the album, Cry. The track Disconnected. Now, is that your view of the way people interact today? Some songs just land on your lap, and that one just landed on my lap. It just once I knew it was going to be called that, the lyrics just seem to pour out. It's almost like a sort of nursery rhyme, that song. But it deceived me when I then took note of it. It was saying some pretty, what I feel, poignant things, and on the top it seems a nice little bouncy, superficial song, but it hit some home truths, I think. So yeah, maybe subconsciously. When I say sits on your lap, lands on your lap, it's probably your subconscious gets it going, rather than sort of consciously sitting down to say, well, I'm going to write about this. And I think in the case of Disconnected, it's quite a loaded little song. And A Face in the Sun. And I listened to it today, again in the car on the way here, and it has very much a Beatlesque feel to it.
Oh yeah, it's funny, I would have said, but I would have said it's got a real David Bowie feel to it, early David Bowie. Big Idol of ours, and especially his albums before Ziggy Stardust. There was a lot of kind of ballads, acoustic piano, but maybe he was influenced by the Beatles or whatever, but or maybe some of the harmonies are Beatlesque, yeah. But I guess we quite liked how to be able to switch from some charged up electronic track 1 minute to the antithesis, this Face in the Sun, which is a acoustic guitar and just about nothing else going on, very dry drum kit.
Well, New Morning Sunshine, I got the single, the acoustic version. Personally, I feel it's better than the finished product. It's got this raw kind of
yes, good.
emotional feel to it.
We did that on. Obviously we did the album version, and then the night before this tour started, exactly a month ago, we went along to Radio Clyde in Glasgow, which is a studio that supported us from day one, a radio station that supported us from day one. And it was from a session done for them, and I think, it's, songs grow. Some songs definitely grow. Some songs, once they're sort of committed, that's it, it's done, and then you go back to it. You do it with maybe a freer spirit, or you do it with a more wide open attack, and I think, I agree. It's funny with it, just on the version that you're talking about, it seems a better song to me. I didn't realise it was such a good song.
Oh, it is.
And I say that independently, because when you're doing it, maybe you're so caught up on the bass part, and this bloody drum thing doesn't work, and that's good, but it was never as good as we want it to be, and the album track becomes a sort of composite of thoughts. Yet when you play it with an acoustic and a voice, you go, Jesus, this thing's really, really powerful, So inherently, that's what I mean. Inherently, it's a better song than I gave it credit for.
You mentioned electronic. Now, the Floating World, the last track on the album, to me would seem to me a sort of an instrumental, futuristic filler for a documentary. I could somehow picture it. Somebody using it for that.
It's quite nice. It's become a futuristic dance floor filler as we speak. In some of the clubs through Europe, especially Italy just now, which is again, I'm sort of plugged into that from living there, but it's not naturally my environment. I'm not a club guy, but occasionally when I do go, it's great to, a track comes on and these hedonistic young ones go nuts on a track like that. Simple Minds, the very first glimmer of success we got came from the sort of new romantic clubs that were playing things like Changeling and I Travel, and so it's nice again to have a song or a tune or an idea that's been adopted in that field.
And the track Homo Sapien, the rhythm, the basic rhythm of it, for some reason reminds me of the Killer track from George Michael.
Oh yeah, it's very, very like it.
Very much so.
Yeah, I think that there are some tracks that become icons in a way. That, the riff becomes iconic, and I guess if you can just put a twist on it, you can be ironic, and it reminds me of that, but very much tongue in cheek.
A word association. I'm going to throw a couple of words at you and see what comes into mind. The 21st century.
I was going to say Promised Land because we had a song years ago that was called 21st Century Promised Land, and so that's what. Or I could say Fox from the movies.
True. The beach.
Barbecue.
Okay. Sunrise.
Alive.
Sunset.
Romantic.
Environment.
Where do you begin? My environment.
Cool. Well, Jim, thank you very much.
Pleasure.